All right, thank you for meeting with me today. We're gonna go over the second to last video, so video 1. Was there any glows and grows that you have for that video?
Yes. Okay, so in the beginning of your lesson, setting the expectations for learning, I did like that you took the time to do that with the kids. And when you gave them that opportunity to pick what passage that they wanted to read based their preference, before you went into the objective of the lesson, that was good also.
Yeah, I'm finding that when they choose and do voice and choice, the outcome is a lot better and they take more pride in the work. So that's something I've really done a lot this year. Like choice. And next year I'm going to work on like choice boards for homework. So the students will be completing the assignments, but they get choice on what they'll be doing each day. So they kind of take ownership of that.
And it still aligns with your standards too and what you're teaching in class.
Yeah.
They think they have a choice.
The choice is to get it all done, but at least they can pick the order that they want to complete it in. Anything that you've seen that I could improve on in that lesson?
There was a part in it when they had to do a discussion after the video. And you ask the questions. Asking the questions is great, but I find sometimes when you have them watch it and then think of a question that they want to ask to the class, and then that discussion develops from there.
I really like that.
So maybe give them like a Post-it or a index card, and then tell them, as you're watching the video, think about something that you want to ask and have them write that down. And their discussions in their groups or a whole group discussion can come from that also.
Okay, totally. So like when you're using progress learning in class, how do you scaffold the learning, like the results?
Okay. Well, in the beginning of the lesson, we would do a progress learning bell ringer. And we pick it based off of the topic, obviously, and the DOK questions. I like to do either DOK 2 or 3 because it gets them thinking more. And then we'll go through different strategies on how to answer questions, how to look for the information in that passage, especially if the passage that I choose for them, because sometimes I like to choose the long ones, especially if it's long, because they're going to see that on their FAST and their NWA, they're not all short. So giving them that opportunity, you work with them, read through it, make sure that, and then I print it out most times too, so they can underline and stuff like that, and go back and find text evidence before they choose their answer. So we'll do that all together in the morning for our success block. And then later on, they'll get one to do independently so that they use those strategies that we practice together, and they can do it independently on their progress learning that's not printed out. That way they can see their progress of it. So if their strategy that they chose worked, then
I love that.
That's how we do that in our class. And that way they get some sense of independence because we do it together. Now you're on your own with the second part of it.
I really like how you lay out how you have them doing things. It really ties into the lesson, and I think it sits with them well. What is your most effective teaching techniques and strategies in class?
Setting the expectations for work and behavior.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, as soon as we start, this is what we're doing, this is how I would like you to do it. If they have any feedback on that, then we'll discuss it, and then we'll move into our work. I also put a kickboard on the board, because sometimes you go over the expectations of behavior and then they forget. But if they see kickboard, it's like, oh, I need to be on my behavior.
Right, it's a reinforcement.
Right. And then during the lesson, in the beginning of the lesson, I'll do the teaching. I'm doing all the talking, you're just listening. And then eventually, I'll pick like a student, maybe 1 or 2 students, and they'll continue. So they'll teach the rest of it.
Oh, I love that.
So maybe on Monday, we do the chunk of it so they get an idea of what's supposed to be happening. And then Tuesday, there's like maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, there's a PowerPoint or a Prezi that they'll do, and then they'll teach the class.
Oh my God, I love that.
You hear me talking all day, every day. At some point, it sounds like, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
You're not listening
they
anymore.
learn so much better from each other.
And then whoever is doing the presentation, they're also learning because they have to come up with what they're going to tell the kids.
Yeah.
And then they listen better when they have their classmates being the teacher in there. And of course, you're there to help if anybody, stumbles or they need any support. And then they come up with their own questions, then it's like, I'm not even there.
Oh my
I'm just
God.
in the back watching.
You're facilitating it maybe a
Right.
little bit.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
And they love it. They come, can I teach a lesson today? Can I do it? I'm like, well, can I do it first? And then you can do it afterwards. So they get really excited in doing that.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm definitely going to try that
Yeah.
next year with them.
And then, of course, you have them do their activity independent and
Yeah.
partnered up first so they can get that one-on-one with somebody else who knows what they're doing. Takes a little bit off of you if you can't meet everybody at
Yeah.
the same time. And then small groups with what their weaknesses.
So you would kind of use that data to use,
Yeah.
and then you make your small groups from
Right.
there.
So we use the NWEA. I can
Yeah.
never say that. Or FAST data, and then sometimes their unit assessments, how they did on that. And
Okay.
then do that with the small groups.
All right, cool. What are some formative and I guess summative assessments we don't have too much control over, like IFAs, the state tests, but what are some formative assessments that you like to use in class?
I like the do nows and their exit tickets at the end of the lesson. What did you learn? What are some things you could take away from it? But we love Kahoot.
Yeah,
and we
Kahoot.
love quizzes. And there's what is the other one that we do?
Look at
Look It, yes. That one. And Jeopardy.
Jeopardy is something I want to do more next year.
Yeah.
But you have to like do so much work into preparing it.
We have the Jeopardy, we have the buzzers, we get into teams. Sometimes they'll have their whiteboards. If I choose not to use buzzers because they get a little buzzer happy. So we use the whiteboards and they have to show it. Count to 3. Everybody hold their things up so you know nobody's.
So everybody's answering and not cheating off of each other. All right, awesome. Thank you for meeting with me today. I really appreciate it. And then we'll discuss video 2.